Hey there, gang. Sorry about these pop-up lives, but there's a lot of new information going on. Um, Actually, it's been awesome. Several of you reached out to me. Grant is actually, and shout out to you, Grant. Uh, Thank you for the information. He's actually at MGM Luxor right now in Vegas and said the um, payouts are not now happening. They can cash out. Everything else, the hand pays have all been resolved. So it sounds like the ticketing system is back online. However, some other people are reporting. I'm going to share this with you guys here. Let me pull this up. And this is also absolute brand new here. Let me see if I can find this. No, I've had too many screens open. Screen one. No. Screen two. Yes. Yes. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is as of essentially 18 minutes ago. This was almost half the slots at Aria are down, and some are down at Bellagio. So these are down slots. So they have been powered off or in some way put into a power save state. This could be through the power system. This could be through an emergency system. This may or may not be a direct result from the cyber attack. This is most likely from a preventative measure to making sure nothing goes any further. It's very unclear. It's really hard to say from this information here. It's just not enough information. The Daily Record is also tweeting that the cybersecurity issue has spread throughout more of the hotels. So, however, it does sound like from Grant that the Luxor is recovering, at least on their ticketing system, which is good. Now, I do not know exactly the extent of each individual systems. Are they? I'm sure they're all linked from a background state. So, excuse me. And then they may have separate systems. Pardon me, guys. Oh, and they may have separate systems as a backup. So Luxor may be linked to the player's card system, but their ticketing system is different. It's independent by itself. So that may explain why Luxor got up so quick, and maybe other properties as well are getting up fast. So yeah, so everything's still down. Websites are still down. Apps are still down. Hey, little Joe, appreciate you coming by. Yeah, this is nuts. Absolutely crazy. It's being reported still constantly. More and more news agencies are picking this up. It's kind of neat. My live earlier has already done extremely well, and I've gotten 5 new subscribers. I'm almost to 3,000. That's pretty awesome. So I want to keep letting you guys know that looks like Luxor is starting to come up. And so maybe there's some hope that this won't be in a prolonged outage, but having not heard from anyone else on what these systems are and what's happening, it's really hard to say. I'm going to keep refreshing the news, trying to look for more stuff. It really is kind of amazing that all this stuff keeps happening. It's like a domino effect. You lose one system, the next system is more vulnerable because that system has gone down. I really hope that we figure out, is this an actual news story? No, it's just a link. That's nothing. What's the Herald trying to say? Oh, they have another link back to their website. That's how that works. So there's also new information. This is actually from a former MGM employee. Apparently, the database that houses Social Security numbers has been compromised. I cannot say exactly how impactful this is yet. So all I can say is the database has been compromised. That may or may not be your Social Security number has been compromised, but some were. Try to take this part with a grain of salt. Many years ago, 3 years ago, Experian had a massive data breach, and they lost 300 million Social Security numbers. So it's essentially everyone in the U.S., their Social Security number was compromised. So try not to place an important factor on your Social Security number anymore. We all have been told our whole lives how important your Social Security number is. Keep it private, blah, blah. And that is true. But realistically, in today's world, everyone's Social Security number is out there. Hey there, Susan. Hey, William Bear. Hey, Chris. Appreciate you guys joining. Hey there, Firefly. Nice to see you there. So this is extremely important information. Hold on just a second. I've got another text coming in. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're saying that the Social Security system is the Social Security numbers are definitely compromised. Wow. I mean, you think about what that means and what they're going to have to report, because they now are going to have to report this as a data loss. And then they're going to have some kind of data remission, or, something that shows all the consumers what they've done, how they're going to prevent this in the future. So a lot of that's going to go straight to public knowledge now, whereas generally speaking, you wouldn't hear so much about this. But once personal data is confirmed to be lost, it's bad. There we go. Wanted to tell that back to them, that person. So yeah, this is crazy. So let's see your comments here, Larry. They I'll show this up here, Larry, because I can. They significantly underreported the impact at the time. I've never really heard too many details of the cause, actor responsible. Larry, this is pretty common in the IT world. At this point, where they're at is panic mode. They're in triage. They're stopping the bleeding. They're trying to gain control, kind of make sure the person is no longer in the system. Many times in IT, this could have been planted weeks ago, months ago, and then a trigger event happened. So no person may be responsible. This could be an algorithm. This could be a Trojan horse just sleeping there waiting to be awoken. And now this has occurred. So it's going to be a long time before we know the cause and who, if they even know that kind of stuff. This is also things they may know on the back end, but they are definitely not going to be sharing that right now. It's really sensitive information at this time, because you're in a panic mode that can only be described as chaos. Everyone has got their focus. In my personal job, I would be focusing on our email system, on our backup system, and then another person is focused on our network system. We have another person would be on our cloud system. So everything is broken up. So without knowing how they work, I'm going to have to assume it's most likely a very similar situation, meaning that everyone is out doing their tasks. They're figuring out what's going on. They're figuring out the effective systems and how to gain back control. Control is the super important part, because a lot of times we don't even get to that point to where we feel confident that we have control, even after everything's back up. We don't know 100% if the system is infected in some way, some back door was left open, all these items. All that stuff is possible. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. I am 20 people away from 3,000. Oh, it's been horrible. So, talk about a worse way to get it is getting it to where all this bad news is going on. I definitely hate that this happened to any company, because I've been in this situation as an IT professional, and I know that this is absolutely brutal. So this is confirming the systems, several properties, Aria, Bellagio, Cosmo, etc. So every Las Vegas property, which we already knew, and apparently everything is going through the casino concierge desk. Because how would you like to be the concierge in this, where you're now responsible for answering everyone's questions? Think about who's calling you. Everyone who has a reservation now till the end of time is probably calling you. People who are worried about their personal information, their accounts, all that stuff. People who have money on deposit. I mean, think about all that. The extent of this could be quite severe, to where they actually wipe out everything. I mean, think if you're a malicious person and you're looking to hurt a casino, you're hurting their minute-to-minute operations, which the estimates of minute loss on this are anywhere from a few million to 10 million a minute loss for the MGM properties. Now, it's obviously nationwide, worldwide at this point. So you got to kind of consider that's a lot of people, a lot of bets going on that they are missing out on. So it's it's still shocking to me that this would occur. And I gotta admit, I'm a little on the concern side as well. I'm not so concerned about my personal information. That's what you have Credit Monitoring for, or Credit Karma. It's a great app. Credit Karma is a great app. I highly recommend you get it free. You don't have to buy anything. You just sort of, have it, and you constantly just check your information, gives you little updates. Highly recommend that. Most credit card companies have access to some Experian data, as all that. You get that free once a year. Make sure to check that. So my personal feelings are my reservation is in 3 weeks. And I'm a little worried that my reservation won't be there, or they're going to lose the fact that it's comped, or that my comp dollars that have been there are now gone. So that's my personal fear, and I'm sure a lot of others have the exact same thing. So it's going to be a little weird. Little Joe, you are exactly right. I want to throw that up on the screen. Yeah, security is going to be huge the next couple of years. I have a feeling all the security booths at G2E, they are going to get packed first thing. Help us. But also maybe not, because most likely every other casino company right now is on the phone with them already saying, we need to secure your services now. So that's really important. That is true, Susan. So you are not staying at MGM. You're at a Caesars property. However, there are some reports, I do not know if they're very unfounded at this point, but that other properties are being affected. I do not have a list of those properties. They may not be related at all. It may not be an actual attack. It might just be a coincidence of some little quirky thing that's gone on. But there are some other properties that are experiencing this issue. I do not know if they're in Vegas. I do not know where they are. I do know they're in the continental United States. That's about it. But all I've gotten is little bits on Twitter and little bits on Reddit that other properties are experiencing issues. Do not have that information at all. Susan, they don't have my Social Security. So no, unless you've gotten a hand pay, they wouldn't have your Social Security number. But if you've ever had an MGM card, they obviously have your personal information, driver's license, phone number, email address, physical address, all that. Chris, I can feel for you. I do not know if they're going to be able to recover, because again, just hearing how bad it is, I really think that the recovery time is going to be a little bit longer each time we hear of an issue. Website recovery, that's really not that big a deal. The player information is a big deal. The reservation system is a big deal. The fact that it affected cashing out tickets is a really big deal. So we're going to see how this goes. I am positive, knowing Vegas, that they will be functioning somehow on some level within a very short amount of time. And I mean like 24 to 48 hours. They're going to be what we perceive as a consumer to be 100% operating, when they're going to be, on the back end still chaos, but they would look like they're, 100% operating. Let's go hand pay here. Hey guys, how you doing? Going to be at the Nomad in 4 or 5 days. Oh boy. Contact your host just to check, because I'm hearing that the reservation system is completely down. I don't know if they took it down to prevent any infection. I don't know if it's down because of this, but you might want to call your host and just confirm that either they can see your reservation or they don't have any info at this time. Just something to check, because knowing that the reservation system was hit, knowing that the key cards were hit, those are systems that, while they're linked through the common front desk hotel system, the fact that they were affected kind of makes me think, well, wait a minute, how far did this go? If you have a reservation system offline, you have the player system offline, you have the key card system offline, this might be something you want to check on. At least I would, for sure. From K Holmes, I appreciate your info from last time. Thank you so much. I hear customers are closing their lines of credit at MGM in fear. Now, this wouldn't really do anything much to close your line of credit because they still have all your information on file, but your line of credit would be closed off, so it's possible no one could get that info to extract some of that credit, which I really doubt. So I have a feeling that in order even to access your line of credit, it's going to be a hard process for at least the next several months. You have to double prove who you are. 2 forms of identification, fingerprint, urine sample, all that stuff. I'm kidding about the urine sample, or maybe not. I don't know. So the line of credit, I wouldn't be too concerned of, but I do see the fear. I recognize how, you kind of think, well, I'm going to close this account. And that's a perfectly logical reaction. It absolutely is. I'm sure they have some kind of plan for things like this. Susan, you're absolutely right. They have what's called a disaster recovery plan, a disaster action plan. This plan would include scenarios like this. However, being the person who wrote the plan, for my part in our company, plans are great until you got to use them. And that's kind of when everything sort of breaks down. Is a plan is only as good as it's executed, and you have to have a backup plan for when the plan fails. So essentially, every plan is in paper is good and looks good, but when you try to actually make that happen, you can't cover in your plan for every possible scenario, every possible disaster. You lose an email system. Let's just assume, okay? Let's just assume they have their email system on premises instead of in the cloud. That recovery process could take days or weeks. Let's say it's in the cloud. Let's say it's not super massive. They could be up and running in a short amount of time. The fact that their email is down leads me to believe that it is not in the cloud and it is more of an on-prem system. So that does have a little concern there. Bullion Bear, you have a perfect point, especially if the plan has never been exercised. I find it hilarious in most IT environments that they have a disaster plan and they never practice it. Disaster plan at my company is actually practiced quite often. We sit in a room once a year and we go over things and, who's dead, who's alive, who can actually do this, what's the plan. However, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. So a person I know directly works for a very large multinational tire corporation, which you can Google this and find out which one, had a massive cybersecurity attack last year in February. Actually, the attack happened in March, but the implant, the Trojan, was in February. It was a ransomware piece that sat dormant for a month before it was executed. And when that executed, they were completely down. Their logistical system was down. Their every database they have was down. They could not use a phone and call someone because their phone system was down. So they have plants in Mexico, US, all over the place. They didn't know where product was. They didn't know trucks that were en route. No one knew anything from a brick and mortar retail facility all the way to the actual where the product was manufactured, where the tires were manufactured. So when you get into an attack of that level and that many systems are down, your disaster plan seems great, except when you have to actually execute it and you haven't practiced it. They lost years, decades worth of data. The FBI in the process of this, helping them with this attack. And oh, by the way, the FBI will be responding to this attack. Their cyber crimes division will absolutely be tapped in, and they will definitely be hit up for help on this stuff. Most companies hit that resource when they have a problem. So back to the tire company, they lost decades worth of data, including tax records and financial records back 30 years. So when you have backups, it's only as good as you can restore. your backup is not any good unless you know you can restore it. And the data they had was lost because they didn't secure their backups properly. So that was horrible. Look at that, Tammy. Thank you, Tammy. Appreciate you coming in, being my moderator there. Susan, I need to make you a mod. I haven't done it because I'm just lazy and I forget. So just remind me at some point. So I'm not seeing any new information at this time. This is so crazy to me still that we're at this level. This corporation is having this many problems. So now CNN's picked it up. Uh-oh. You know it's bad when CNN picks up your story. Now you know it's going to get messed up. And this is all they put, offline. And everyone jumps into these things so fast. I'm clicking over here. I need to click over here. Oh, Back in Black. That is not a conspiracy theorist, but that is a coincidence for sure. And I wouldn't be shocked to find out it was linked somehow to be a terror attack. Cybercrime is the new terrorism, whether it's done by China, Russia, Middle East, anywhere else like that. Cyber terrorists, cybercrime is everywhere. It is not localized to any region. And there are lots of countries out there that are really good at it that have actually state-run cybercrime, cyber attackers. The U.S. does as well. Don't get me wrong on that. The U.S. does the same thing, just not to the malicious level to corporations. At least I hope not. Now you got me talking conspiracy theory. No, we're not going to go there. Definitely a coincidence, that's for sure. That is definitely something to think about. So CNN now reports after who knows how many hours. This is like close to 6-7 hours now, 8 hours even. And they're reporting the same thing. MGM offline. All these ones. All they've done is copy and paste from another one who confirmed it, and this is just a copy and pasted story. It happens all the time. Kind of each news agency does it. Oh, here we go. This is information I've been waiting for right here. This is the FBI is working. This is reported by Alex Stone at ABC News. I'm giving you credit, Alex. Don't take people's work. So this is FBI is now working with MGM on its cybersecurity incident that is impacting operations at MGM resorts. Guests report great impacts to operations. FBI has been in contact with MGM. We are told since Sunday morning investigations in holy crap. So this has been going on since yesterday morning, and now the impact is getting this bag. Wow. That's worse than I thought. They have had, nearly 30 hours now, 36 hours to deal with this. And they're this bad in. None of this stuff was occurring yesterday with all these systems being offline. It occurred pretty much about 8-9 hours ago. And this has been going on since Sunday. That is a crazy long time for sure. Holy crap. That makes it even worse. But the fact that systems are coming online, reported by Grant, that is definitely a good bit of info there. Yeah, little Joe didn't see it coming either. That's for sure. Who'd have thought your news source would be NBC, CNN, Gamble the Globe? Hey, anyone who reports factual information is a good source. So whether it's CNN, NBC, whatever your views are on those media outlets, I definitely make sure when I'm telling you guys something, I get it from at least a couple of different sources that are independent. I don't like hitting up mainstream news. I like hitting up the outliers. So it's definitely kind of a thing for me, is to make sure that I'm giving you guys accurate information. I like all the people who have shared this information with me, especially Grant and Kay Holmes sharing that information. I'm going to see if Grant has sent an update here. He has not yet, but that's the kind of great info I appreciate from you guys, because you're seeing this personally, and you can put it on Twitter and maybe no one sees it, but I appreciate you sending it to me so I can get that info out, and so everyone can experience this and kind of hear more what's going on. I'm not seeing anything new at this point in time. this is still quite amazing to me that this has been going on since yesterday. Yesterday, and these impacts are hitting. Oh boy, Tracy Ace. Hey, Tracy Ace, welcome in. A reservation starting Monday at Bellagio. So Let's Go Hand Pay was here. They're going to be at Nomad soon. So is Chris. He's going to be there in 7 days. I would definitely recommend, if you have a host, to call your host directly and to check on your reservation. If you don't, try the concierge. If the reservation system is still down, I don't see them being able to do anything. So hopefully your reservation is set. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying you're going to be without a room, but just check on that information. I'm sure everything is fine. I'm sure we back up, but the hard truth is I have no clue. And at this point, it doesn't seem like any news outlet has a clue either. So double check that just to make sure you're safe. And then, yeah, there's Chris saying that his is over on the 18th to the 21st. So you're right around the corner. I mean, this weekend, or wait, you're Monday as well. So you and Tracy are going to be in Vegas same time. So you're both having the same boat. There's your support group for each other. And Trace comes back as it's a comp. I'll cancel in a heartbeat and go another time. That's one of my concerns, is that if they lose track of the player system, comp system, thinking as, so another practice you do in IT, you think as a malicious attacker, what would you go after? And everything has already been hit at what I would have gone after. But the reservation system, blanking that out, messing up player comps, player rewards, those are kind of things that would be the biggest fear to us, the consumer. So that's a huge deal there. Let's go with KF Ashong. Trying that. Hopefully I got that right. This is such a massive attack. I can't even fathom the economy of it. I'm going to be in Vegas next week. I guess we'll have to play it by ear. Exactly. Just check if you can. Maybe wait until tomorrow or Wednesday. Let a little bit of the steam die down, and then go from there, just to make sure to check on it. From Bullion Bear, he read a post saying that MGM Detroit was having computer issues last night. From the little bits of info I read, it sounds like MGM Detroit was getting the brunt of it all pretty much from the start. So they may have been sort of the, agent, what patient zero. Yeah, patient zero is what I'm looking for. Try to grab one here from Larry. Take a look at the info on the past breaches. It seems like the data dump on Telegram earlier this year might have been separate from the 2019 breach. Oh, Larry, you have a good point. If this was a malicious actor, especially in a ransomware where they grab all the data and they've been extracting it for weeks, and then they encrypt all the data so the systems become useless, then they say, pay us or we're dumping all the data. And that's a lot of times what happens, is they dump the data on the internet for everyone to view. Okay, K Holmes, they're allowing people to come in and play slots in Ohio, but if you cash out, you must wait for a tenant to receive cash. They have called in extra attendants to help. I hope those guys are getting good overtime on this one, because if it's an emergency, for sure. That's good information, K Holmes. Appreciate that. Hopefully you are still winning. Hopefully you're winning and able to cash out. I really hope everyone's taken care of. Also, this is a great time to ask for maybe a comp at the buffet or a restaurant for your inconvenience. Anyone who's at one of these properties, I would do this. This is something I would do because, it's a horrible situation, but you're still trying to be a consumer. You're still trying to be a customer. They can take care of you. If you ask and they give it to you, let me know for sure. Another one from Larry here. And I'll only hear about today's story from YouTube Alert. You're welcome, Larry. I'm glad I could be that information there. Oh, and K Holmes says security does warn you as you're entering the property. So that is good. They're getting the information out and they're staying open, which is, how they make money. So that's extremely important there. See here. I'll pour one out for my casino IT brothers and sisters. Now I get you. Pour one out. Like, yeah. Like I said, man, I'm in IT as well. I can totally feel for them. We've all been there in that panic situation where you're just like, what do I do first? You have to take a second and breathe, and then you go from there. And sometimes that breath kind of makes you think about life choices and whether or not you could be working somewhere else that has nothing to do with IT. I've been there a few times. I'm sure you have too, man. I have not heard directly about Beau Rivar's Trace, but it does seem every MGM property. But again, I have not heard directly on it. Oh, look at that. They are offering free buffet if you want to hang around and wait. So if they're offering a free buffet now, ask them about a free buffet for next week or tomorrow. That's great. They're giving it right now, but hey, I want to come back. Do you want me to come back? And another thing, although they can't really issue it to you right now, ask for a comp room. I mean, this is the time where the consumer rules. So it's never a bad time to try to ask. The worst they can say is no. If you watch my channel, when I'm talking about comps, ask for it. The worst they can say is no. And the worst case, you're still in the same spot. You still didn't have it. They said no, or maybe they said yes, and now you have it. So you're always better just asking. All right, gang, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks again. I will have more information when I do. Chris is flying there now for a free buffet. If it's worth it to you, Chris, go for it. If you can eat your money back in shrimp, more power to you. Yep, that's correct. All of the MGM properties websites down. So they share a common backend web server on that one. So that's why you're seeing that everyone's down. You're going to get the same information page saying dial the concierge. So yeah, that's unfortunately not good. All right, gang. Talk to you soon. Gamble smart, gamble safe. As soon as I have more information, I'll be back. Let's just hope this keeps moving forward. Let's hope we get some progress and hear some resolutions pretty soon. Thank you, Sasha. Appreciate it. I will keep on giving it to you guys. More coming soon. As soon as I have it, I'll be back live. Gamble smart, gamble safe. And ending the live stream.